Howdy, everyone, and welcome into this episode number 4. It's day number 4 of the subscriber marathon. Stay tuned for the world famous, the most famous clock in the whole wide world, besides Big Ben, the Andy Warhol clock, right off of his desk, purchased at Sotheby's in the late 1980s. Yes, I own Andy Warhol's BAKELITE New Haven vintage clock. I vacillated on a title for this video between I'm best friends with Andy Warhol or I made jewelry for Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol was extremely famous for the pop art movement. I believe he was born in 1928. I think he passed away in 1987. And oh, I forgot to tell you what I'd like to do. Rather than being a social climber like some people, social climbing is manipulative and self-serving. And what I wanted to be known for is my animals that I loved and loved me in return. This is Little Shocky. This was my black cat that I first had when I moved into my home. And I loved this little cat. And it was out on my desk and a reminder of what truly matters in life. Real relationships, real connections between people. And I have that now with all of you as my YouTube viewers and extended family. And that is a paw print of one of my dogs that passed away. And before she passed, I took a paw print from her. And I had that out on my desk for a reminder that the definition of a social climber is a person who tries to improve their social standing, and that's often by becoming friendly with wealthier or more powerful people. I also think that can happen when people pay promotions and then kind of try and give it credit for a social influence. It's a very strange situation. And in my opinion, I left that all behind in high school. And that's why I wanted to keep my channel honest and forward-thinking and showing things from my personal collection. I so appreciate you all sharing me out and hitting that subscribe button this week. It has greatly affected my channel in a positive way, and I want to continue to create content to serve all of your needs. So again, here is the clock. This is the New Haven clock. This is right off of Andy Warhol's personal desk. And there is the Sotheby's sticker. Remember lot 815. And that is the Andy Warhol Collection from Sotheby's in New York. And look at the age of that sticker, how long that has been on there. Let's take a look at the clock itself. There's its very simple mechanism. And such New Haven clocks were very sought after when they were originally constructed. And look at the deco lines of this, very streamlined. Look at that oxidation or halo. See where people's hands have touched this? Andy Warhol's hands had touched this, and it's a remarkable thing to be able to acquire a clock like this, let alone being owned by someone extremely famous and extremely well known. And it is an honor. When someone asked me to prove that this was Andy Warhol's, I said, not a problem. If you ask for receipts, I will bring them. If you ask for receipts from other people, they run. So this is from Sotheby's, and it was located at 1334 York Avenue, New York, right in the heart of the Big Apple, 10021. This was a paid invoice from, again, the Andy Warhol Collection, and look how pixelated the old printer was that printed this out. It's just amazing to see. This is the original receipt from Sotheby's, and there were 4 lots purchased. I won't get into the other ones. There was a citrine quartz brooch and ring circa 1940 for $660, silver amethyst ruby necklace and bracelet for $880. Lot 805 was miscellaneous, bakelite and plastic hinge bracelets for $1,870. I will not make a comment on where those are now. 815 was the lot. It says miscellaneous lot of bakelite accessories, and that is $1,540. The subtotal was $4,950, and then you come down here to the paid portion of the receipt, and let me zoom in on that. Stamped paid April 24th, 1988, so just after Andy Warhol's death. $4,950 was paid, and let's zoom in on that again. So there is all of that information, the original Sotheby's receipt, and yes, of course, for security purposes, address and phone number completely blocked off. All right. Now you're going to ask yourself, where's the catalog? Well, I have the catalog. This is a facsimile of the catalog. This was from the Sotheby's auction. Again, collectibles, jewelry, furniture, decorative, decorations, and paintings. And this was from the Andy Warhol Collection. I'm not going to make a comment on the cookie jars that I actually own from the Andy Warhol Collection, because that's a whole nother video. And look, it says the Andy Warhol Collection. He was very well known for his art, but he was very well known for a very eccentric lifestyle. Like most artists, were highly emotional people, were overly emotional people. The most truthful of all artists are. Here is lot 815, again, facsimile, and let's zoom in on this. So lot 815, miscellaneous lot of Bakelite accessories circa 1925 to 1930. That's absolutely true. Comprising of a New Haven clock, wind-up clock, a pocketbook, and an Emerson radio. I do not have the pocketbook or the Emerson radio. The pre-auction estimate was $200 to $300. Let me take 1 second and say that pre-auction estimates, when people have asked me, because I do work at a auction facility, pre-auction estimates are just a guideline, guardrails for where a lot should be expected to go. They are always, well, no, let me back that up. Nope. They are usually substantially less than what is expected from a lot. That wants to let people in on the bidding. Sometimes it's intentionally. Sometimes it's intentionally done so that there is a bidding frenzy, meaning that people would say, oh, wow, this lot's worth at least $1,000, and they only have it in at $200 and $300. It causes a fever. It causes extreme competition. And after all, in the antique and reselling business, it is highly competitive. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But there can be friendly competition, and I'm further proof of that over 30 years and still in the business with an awful lot of true reseller friends. So let's get into this and let's take a look at, there is lot 815. Let's zoom out so everyone can see the outside of this. There are many other lots. Ooh, I could talk about this lot because, yeah, there's a lot of information on that one. And advertising pieces and cast iron antique still banks and a mechanical bank that's really well known. I think that's the William Tell Bank, I believe, and that's an antique. And then these antique still banks and cast iron. I have a large collection of those as well. Look at me getting distracted. This is lot 815. There is the Bakelite radio. There is the Bakelite, quote, handbook, okay, or purse. And there is the New Haven clock. And there it is in the catalog and in the photograph. I've never shown this on my channel because, again, I don't define my collections by who own these pieces, but we'll bring it in again. And I think I'm going to leave it there for the day. I had so much more I wanted to say. I had so much more on my mind. And today is just not the day for it. Oh, when I said sometimes it's really difficult to hit that record button, Some days I sound like a whiny little baby. That's unnatural, that's being human, that's being mortal. But again, this is Andy Warhol's Bakelite clock. So many of you have asked for the deep dive. Please, if you're not familiar with his art, please go over and take a look at some of his creations. Very whimsical. I will say, personally, I was not a fan of his artwork. Let's say this, I was not a fan of the end result of his artwork, meaning what was physically created. I was interested in his creative process, though. And I think a lot of times, too, with artists, it's all about the creative process rather than the end result, rather than what comes from that or what is created from that. A lot of times, it's the concept behind the work. And that's the kind of artist I was trained to be. After 7 years of school, a lot of my art is very emotionally charged and told my story. And I was supposed to be creating body adornment, and so many of my pieces are completely unwearable. They're made out of materials that don't survive. They're made out of ephemeral things and very dreamy from time to time. And my body adornment, I stopped at nothing for my creations because I wanted to leave my legacy and tell my story. Thank you so much for participating in today's video. Hopefully you loved this. Please leave down in the comment section below. Did you enjoy Andy Warhol's art? Did you understand it? And what do you want to see from further videos from me? Thank you so much for joining in today. And before I get into any more trouble with my sass, it's time for me to go. I really greatly appreciate all of you. Again, thank you so much for your time. And I mean it down deep. I love you because I do.